going on. It's got to be something on my end if it keeps happening this way. But yeah, we'll get through it. We'll figure it out. Hopefully this goes through this time. I don't know. Getting real tired of this, man. 2 weeks in a row now we've had issues doing this live show. Almost like something's telling you, don't do it, man. Don't go live. It's not worth it. You can't get it working anymore. Whatever. Just getting tired of this. But we'll try to figure it out. We'll try to get. Man, getting tired of this. But I didn't have much left to talk about, honestly, anyways. I just kind of wanted to talk about Pearl, and I wanted to talk about Don't Worry, Darling in the segment that I was going to call Pearl Worry, Darling. Pearl, Worry, Darling, because these are two things that I have really enjoyed. Both of these are properties that I have really enjoyed, and they were two movies that I personally found very interesting. First off, I have to say, Pearl's really good. So X was a movie that earlier this year I was blown away by. It did something completely interesting. It told a unique story. I was really impressed by that idea. I thought it was really cool. I really liked Pearl because it's like a prequel to that. It's a character that you saw in X, and when that came out, I'm like, okay, cool horror movie about kind of like the aging beauty and how you can do that thing. What is Pearl going to be? Pearl is less a horror story more than it is like watching this woman kind of lose herself, if that makes sense. It's weird that way. It's really weird that way. It's like this weird tragedy of this girl who thinks she's the most important thing in the world, and she suddenly starts to like lose herself and get enveloped in this weird identity, and she thinks that she's going to work. Like there's one scene in particular where you start to understand like what T West is kind of saying about this thing, where it's like, oh, you could try as hard as you want and think you matter, but then again, you might not. You might not actually matter. Nothing might actually go your way. And that's kind of like a tragic thing to explore, isn't it? Having both of those things come together. Yeah, it's kind of tragic, but very fun. Very cool. Like the film style we use it into is very like classic nostalgic. It's got like a great film grain to it. The color of blood in particular in this movie. Oh man. It is so old school syrupy blood. I adore it so much. It just looks so dumb. I love it. I love it. So silly, so clean, so out of there, so bizarre, so crazy. It's amazing. It is amazing. I adore that too. Maya Goth, again, this girl, I don't know why, but her and Wes, they have this connection that's very like Carpenter and Russell, where it's like two people working together that can play to each other's strength. And you live to see it. You love to see it. They're two people that work so well together, they can do no wrong, in my opinion. When those two work together, you have something magical happening. You have a connection that you've never really seen before. It is so fun, so creative, such a cool process. I dig it. 6-minute monologue, man. A 6-minute monologue this girl gives. And it is so good, and she is just incredible, and the action is cool, and every side character is cool, and the intention is cool, and the weird rotting pig is cool. Everything about Pearl just looks great, and it's filmed so beautifully. And I said this on Twitter. We don't make films like this anymore. Like, we don't make a film that looks like this, that acts like this, that feels like this. Every film we make has a certain weird quality to it, but none of it is like this. None of it has this specialty to it. It's this beautiful shop. It's just so creative and insane. I really dig it. Pearl was fantastic. Pearl had so much good going for it. And it all lived up to the hype. Now, as much as I loved Pearl, there was another movie I saw this week that I do want to talk about. Don't Worry, Darling, you know. Oh, a film shrouded in controversy, a movie full of just, what's going on here? Whose side is on who? We know we go to like a film festival. Did somebody spit on somebody? Are we positioning our actors in a certain way so they're not talking to a certain person? And you're like, probably. This definitely feels like that's the case. Now, what I want to say to that is something that I haven't seen a lot of critics talking about it this way. And I don't want to say I'm the first person to kind of like talk about it this way, because I don't think I am. I'm sure other critics have talked about this film in a different light than this, but this is just what I got from this film. And I wanted to share it here and talk about it in this way. My interpretation of Don't Worry, Darling is a lot of Olivia Wilde learning to not cope, just live through her divorce. Understand, does she want to stay married? Understand what it means to separate and have this experience of like I don't want to spoil too much of Don't Worry Darling because it's one of those films where like not knowing anything kind of helps. I personally don't hate the twist that there is, and there is a twist. I don't think the twist is bad. What I do like about the twist is that it is kind of like, oh, now you see how she's processing her feelings to a certain husband of hers. So the thing is, even just looking at the character, like, oh, do you want to stay trapped in this marriage that you have no control in? Do you want to find your independence when everyone's telling you you have to sacrifice to stay here? It's healthier for you. It's better for you. Hell, Olivia plays a character in this movie who has children, who is trapped in a marriage she might not be the biggest fan of, but at least here she has her kids at all times and she can watch them. And you're like, this is about you and your boy, right? This is about Mr. Man who went overseas to make the Mustache Show, right? Harry Styles' character has the same hairdo as Mr. Mustache Man. And I'm like, it's so there. It is so there for you to see. Is the writing perfect? No. Is the cinematography perfect? No. Is Harry Styles perfect? Oh, buddy, he is not. But you feel everything else there is the story of this woman justifying leaving her husband. And again, I don't want to talk about anything behind the scenes in that aspect because I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what their relationship looks like. It could be perfect. It could have been swell. It probably wasn't. But this story feels like Olivia Wilde processing how, why, what she needs to do, how she needs to feel, why she feels certainly about being trapped with Jason, about escaping Jason, and about being free of him. And again, no criticism to either of them because I don't know the full story. I doubt we ever will know the full story, but that's the lens I got immediately when I was watching Don't Worry Darling. Like, oh, this is a girl who is giving herself so much to do and playing in this beautiful, bubbly world with all of this fun narrative to explore. That's what I saw. That's how it felt to me. And when you get that in your headset, I think you get a really worthwhile experience. Honestly, I think you do. I think there's something to like about that. There's something to explore about that. There's some creative endeavors to take from that and have something shine in that aspect. That's really cool. Florence Pugh, she's great. She's really great in it. Every time Nick Kroll was on screen, he is just screaming his heart out in this weird setting that you weren't expecting. And yeah, Harry Styles was bad. He was bad. And he's got My Policeman coming out this year. This might be the death of Harry Styles as an actor. But I get it. I get it. He's not meant to do this thing, so let's not have him do it. That's all I got. I would probably talk more about it, but I don't know. I'm having some issues right now with everything going on with OBS. Streamlabs are they're messing me up these past couple of weeks. You know, I've been cut out twice now. I don't know why we cut out this time. Everything was fine. We had kind of like a power surge a few weeks ago that cut me out, but I don't know why it just kind of stopped going here. It kind of worried me and kind of pissed me off. So that's going to do it for the Geek Beach this week. Don't worry, darling. When you look at it at the lens of Olivia Wilde trying to leave Jason Sudeikis, it's right there and it's on the nose. When you look at Pearl's like this beautiful homage to like a tragic film about a woman who thinks she's going to be successful in an industry that's going to spit her out, it's beautiful cinema. When you look at Andor, it's anti-cop, it hates fascists, it's just a story about these people are bad. Andor hates cops. That's the whole thing of the story. It's also about the radicalization of people becoming protesters. It is such a Trump-era show. I love it. The Gilroy team of Tony and I think his brother Dan or Steve or something, give them James Bond because they'd kick ass at that story. All right. Thank you guys for watching this episode of The Geek Wave. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. Enjoy the Geek Beach, ya beach bums.